Hi, everyone. Welcome to session 26 of Project Management Professional Training Series. This is Niladri. So let's dive in straight. Lesson 26 is a continuation of lesson 25. So in lesson 25, we have done integration management. And in 26, we will check a little bit of 10 practice questions and go through them to understand and to have a little bit more clarity on integration management. See, integration management is a tough concept, um, and little bit like difficult to grip if you have not understood all the other knowledge areas. Okay, so it's always good to practice as many number of questions on integration management prior to you sit for the exam. The questions will not be easy in integration management. They will be from medium difficult to really difficult ones, but if you have got a good concept clear on integration management, which is nothing but the combination of all the other knowledge areas, it will be very simple for you. Okay, so let's start off with our practice question. We are going to do only 10 of them. Maybe you will get a chance to a little bit to do more on them when I share the final mock test of 100 questions. However, uh, I will always say that do at least till 500 to 600 questions prior to sit for the actual exam. And those questions are there online, in Udemy, in PMI lessons. In many places you will find, there are free questions to practice. Okay. So question one. Now the questions in the real exam may be somewhat similar to the content like this, but they will be more, I will say, bigger in a story kind of a thing. They will say Mr. X has done this and Y has done this, all that stuff will be there. So you need to be a good reader, or you need to practice a lot of questions to ensure that you read real fast. Okay. Few project managers collect lessons learned information throughout the project life. Most tackle this in the final days of the project or words after the project is complete. Now, what is the negative consequence of this approach? So it's basically trying to say what is the negative impact if you are trying to capture the lessons learned only in the final days or in the closing stage. So remember always that lessons learned is something which I mean, of course, it's one of the activities in the closing stage, but closing stage, it says that compile the final lessons learned. It never says that start the lessons learned and complete it here. Lessons learned is something which has to be done throughout the project life cycle. In fact, right from the time your execution has started off, that's the best time or golden time so to start off with a lessons learned document. And every team member has to punch in their details. What is the correct option? It makes compiling and obtaining project information difficult. It might result in further expense. Project's NPV becomes zero. It requires hiring a specialist. Now remember, one of the catch points of PMP exam is that you are going to get 4 options. Out of them, 2 will be kind of completely out of the line. You can say 2 of them will be bogus. Okay. And most of the time, the needle will be only between 2 of them. So here the bogus answers are the project's NPV becomes zero. That's got nothing to do with lessons learned, right? It might result in further expense on the project. That also is kind of garbage statement because expense has got nothing to do with lessons learned. Now, the first and the last one, it makes compiling and obtaining project information difficult, or it requires hiring a specialist. I will always say go with the option A. That's the right option. Question 2, does the term progressive elaboration incorrectly represent which of the following? Now, progressive elaboration actually means that you elaborate as you progress, which means you have got some scope in the beginning and you do not know the entire scope in the beginning, but you probably will be having a little bit more scope added and more things change as you move across, as you capture the requirements, or more or less as you are going to release or give the demo of the version 1 to customer. So progressive elaboration is more or less like what you have done in Agile or what you do in Agile. So here it says rolling wave planning, changes to project scope, detailing out the product requirements developed during the initiation process, and production of fabrication and construction drawings from the drawings of for a chemical plant. Okay, which of this incorrectly represent the progressive elaboration. Okay, I will always say that in this case, it is correct answer B, because when it is changes to project scope, that is the incorrect representation of the term progressive elaboration. Okay, so rolling wave planning is actually equals to progressive wave elaboration. So rolling wave planning is one of the secondary terms which we use to represent progressive elaboration. Similarly, detailing out the requirements of the product, like double clicking on them as we progress, is actually progressive elaboration. And production of fabrication and construction drawings from the drawings for our chemical plant is actually progressive. You're getting into more details as you move further. Okay, but not exactly changes to project scope. All right. Question 3. Which of the following approaches encourages plan definition but also acknowledges that once work starts, the priorities may change and the plan needs to be updated to reflect this change? Okay. Now, looking at the answers, you will see waterfall is, of course, one of the approach to project management. Adaptive planning is also, predictive life cycle is also, upfront plannings. There is nothing called upfront planning. Okay, so here it is asking you that which of the following approach will encourage the plan definition, but also acknowledges that once the work is going to start off, the priorities might change and the plan needs to be updated. Okay, so here the correct answer will be adaptive planning. I mean, that word itself is there, but adaptive planning actually means that you are going to, the plan needs to be modified or updated or adapted in the future. Okay, waterfall is extremely strict. So waterfall means that your project scope, like scope time cost, is frozen in the beginning. Okay, and predictive is something which is equivalent to waterfall. So predictive is not actually a PM standard. It's one of the life cycle approach. So predictive is definitely under the predictive. You have got the waterfall. Upfront planning, there is nothing called upfront planning. So adaptive is the correct answer. I think you're getting the gist here, that in the exam, these kind of questions will come in where one or two garbage answers will be there and you have to figure out the best answer out of the remaining two. Yeah, this is something like an exam question where you get some names there and something has been done there, some story kind of thing. And from there, you have to find out the correct answer. So it talks about Lucy has recently been assigned as the project manager for a new shopping mall construction project. Now, since the project will span well over 5 years, Lucy is a bit hesitant to use the current market rates for estimating the construction material cost. Why? Because there will be a increase in the cost in the future due to inflation, due to the currency rate change, and so on. The prices have been steadily increasing and the current market rates might not remain valid in the future. Now, which of the following techniques can Lucy apply to determine her project budget? Right? First one is conduct trend analysis on the cost of materials and use the extrapolate the cost of materials in the future. Basically, it's trying to say that you do an analysis of the cost of materials, which is rising now, maybe zero point 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 quarter by quarter. And based on that data, you predict a forecast a price for the future, which is kind of looks like logical, right? Second one is determine the cost of the project using current market rates and in the total budget by some factor. That also can be taken. Okay, that also can be done. Third is compute the net present value of the cost of materials and use it to determine the project budget. No, we cannot do that, right? Because net present value is definitely will not solve your problem, because here the present value will not cannot be taken as the budget because things will change over 5 years. Use rolling wave planning to determine the budget as the project progresses. I will say that in a shopping mall construction project, it's not good to do a rolling wave planning. Rolling wave planning is generally used for agile project, and agile is mainly used for, let's say, software development project or something which you can do a version 1, version 2, like a MPV, a minimum viable like product in the beginning, and from there you build on that. But a shopping mall construction is a pretty much a waterfall kind of thing. There you cannot do much of rolling wave planning. So now the answer boils down to A and B. So A is trend analysis on the cost and use the extrapolate to the cost of materials. Yes. And B is determine the cost of the project using current market rates and the total budget by some factor. That some factor is not a very good answer because you don't know what is that factor, right? So trend is the best option because by trending, you can check the rates for the future as well. Correct answer is A. Okay. Question 5. You just sat through an exhausting change control meeting. Now remember, this is integration management question. So you are getting all sorts of questions here. You're getting questions about how to find out the cost, like cost is coming in the picture, scope is coming in the picture, and now also you're getting the change control board in the picture. So exhausting change control meeting, discussing a change in the scope to the project you have worked on for the past 7 months. After a lengthy discussion, the change in scope was approved. As the project manager, you should now update all the following documentation except. So we all know that once the change is approved, then you are going to go back and update all the documents and communicate back to the stakeholders about the change. Here it tells you that which of the documents you must approve and which not. So scope baseline, it tells you the change in scope was approved. So definitely your scope baseline has to be updated. Requirement documentation, since it's talking about scope, your requirement documentation also has to be updated. WBS dictionary, oh yes, change in scope, and it's talking about the one particular new scope has been added. So basically, the dictionary also has to be updated. Project charter. Project charter is generally never updated in a project. Once it is done, it's done. So you are not going to update the project charter here. So that's the correct answer. All right. Question 6. You are having your project team members record the time they spend on different activities during the day, like time in, time out, using the programming, electrical, HVAC, whatever time they spent on each of the things. Okay, each of the components in the project. This is an example of a tool and technique in what process. So in what process you are going to use this kind of tool and technique where people are asked to capture time spent on different verticals of a project. So this is easy one actually. Manage communications, definitely not. Direct and manage project work, nope. Monitor and control project work, that's the correct answer. Okay, because whenever you're going to punch in the record of time you're going to spend on each of the verticals or activities in a project, you're basically trying to monitor it and control it. If there is a day, if we see a lot of time being spent on something, or it's going to attack the critical path, or there is a risk on the schedule, you will actually use this tool and technique in the monitor and control. Manage team is not the answer. Okay. Question 7. Which option is not representative of the inputs, tools and techniques and outputs of the direct and manage project work process? Okay. So direct and manage project work process, it's asking you which option below is not representing the input, tool and technique and output. So let's see. This will be a tricky one. Okay. Now, PMIs, project management plan, and deliverables. Always, remember that direct and manage project work, it will involve the project management plan, right? So not representative means, first of all, you take off answer option A and find out if any of the other answers has got a project management plan. You also find the project management plan in the answer D, right? So A and D are eliminated. Now the answer lies between B and C. So B is talking about deliverables, approved change request, and project management information system, and C is approved change request, validated changes, and PMIS, which is project management information system. So here, which of the following is not representing? And that answer should be answer C, because validated changes is there. So validated changes is again not a part of direct and managed project work. Okay. Tricky one. Sometimes you will get these kind of questions. So try to eliminate them, like whatever you know is a part of that, you take them off, and then you find out from the other two. Okay. Question 8. How can changes be made to a project management plan once the project manager baselines it? Good question, right? So by generating a change request and having it approved through perform integrated change control process. This looks like the correct answer, right? But let's see the other answers. This is typically done by using a version control. Project manager creates a new version with the changes. Nope, there is no version control here. This is done by maintaining a revision history or log. Project manager document the changes. Nope. A project management plan cannot be changed once it is baseline. A random has to be created. No, that is also not correct. It can be changed. So first one is the best or is the correct one, which we all know because we have to go through a change request process. PICC basically. So now you're getting right how your change management questions will be coming up and how you should know that flow, because these are the questions which you expect a lot and you will be getting a little bit difficult questions than this. Not so straightforward ones, but at least get the easy ones done first so your fundamentals are clear and then you try on more difficult and complex ones. Question 9. A typical PMP exam question kind of stuff. Okay, so Erica is managing a kitchen tools manufacturing project which is intended to produce modern cooking ovens. This project is hugely important for the company as well as for Erica's career. Although the project scope statement was well defined and requirements were gathered from stakeholders in the planning phase, many design change requests have come in from customers during project execution. Which of the following tasks must Erica perform to avoid scope creep caused by uncontrollable changes? Should be an easy answer. Let's see. Perform, validate scope, process, and process all changes through the risk responsive process. No, that doesn't look correct. Perform integrated change control process and process all change requests through the control quality process. No, there is no control quality process. Perform scope control and process all changes through the integrated change control process. This looks like the correct answer. Okay, it should go to PICC. Um, Perform scope control and process all changes to the validate. So basically it talks about PICC in option B as well, but it talks to quality control. We are not going through quality control. We're going through scope control. So scope control through PICC. Answer C. Okay. Finally, the last question. You're managing a highly complex drug manufacturing project and your sponsor is highly motivated and influential. Okay, high impactful sponsor. You're optimistic about the outcome of the project. However, you are unsure about the project approval requirements that measure the project success. You would like to document the name of the person who signs off on the project and the criteria that constitute the project success. Which of the following documents should you use first to incorporate project approval requirements? What do you think the correct answer is? This is a simple question. The correct answer is answer B, the project charter, because here it is, the name of the person who signs off on the project and the criteria is always mentioned in the project charter. So you would have got the little bit of fun of it, like how PMP tries to confuse in the exam a little bit. But if you know the answers or if you know the process well, it's very simple to find out. Most of the questions will be simple to find out. Few of them will be difficult, which I will discuss in the tips and tips for the exam lesson, how to actually tackle the entire exam, how to crack it. All right, with that, we came to the end of this session. Thank you all for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it. Wish you all a great day and a great time.